Okay, we're starting.
One,
Are
two,
you
three.
ready?
1, 2, 3.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Yikes Right podcast. My name is John. We have our fellow Yikes Right podcasters. To my left is
Hi, I'm Keenan.
Oh, it's me. Hi, Tyler.
Steven.
I'm Alex.
and we're here to talk about things.
Yikes.
Okay, so we do this thing every week. We just thought it was a good idea to record our conversations and maybe share it with everybody. Just about what we think and how we view the world, and on certain topics. And it's pretty cool, and it'll be cool to look back on it later on in our lives, right?
We're gonna think, damn, we were hella dumb.
Yeah. So
for archive's sakes.
yeah, we got a few topics in mind. This time we're a little bit more prepared than last week.
Last week was good though. Last week was very natural.
Yeah.
As you can tell, it might look a little different. There's a video.
There's a face to the sound, and if we're touching shit on the table, you'll know what we're touching.
Yeah. Apologies of last week.
It
All
won't
the
just
tapping.
be random
That was
fucking
good.
banging noises.
Okay, so first topic on hand tonight, Tyler.
Oh, what? Technology? We're going to talk about technology. Shitty technology? Good technology? What kind?
All
Any
things
kind of
technology. So should we start with comedic stuff first?
I was like, don't you think technology is doing good, but there's some really dumb things out there. So every was it Amazon just admitted to listening in on Alexa's, like all the staff members like, oh yeah, we've been listening to people's lives. Can you imagine the stories those guys had to tell?
I didn't even know that. What?
No, that was a thing. That was in the news.
Yeah.
Amazon admitted that employees had recordings of people's households
And conversations and
all that good stuff that everybody was paranoid about. Guess what? It was true.
It's true.
So, like, you know how, like, they said mood sounds for sex and stuff?
Ooh.
No, yeah, and the hue lights go, and then like, can you imagine what they got? The bedroom Alexa that was in there.
Alexa, set the mood.
It's like a Pornhub podcast.
Do you think?
Well, I mean, at least you can't record video.
Do you think Amazon has employees just listening in? And
No, they do. That's literally
That's legit.
No,
What
but
happened?
do you think that Alexa's not like a smart device, and the Amazon employee is like listening in, and they just turning on your smart devices from their like control room?
And it's just a voiceover, right? Like I can go by the voice.
No, I mean like you have set responses right off for Alexa.
Yeah.
But like it's just an Amazon employee.
You know what I feel?
No.
That had to be the start. When Alexa first started, like, man, we really don't have a smart thing. Let's start somewhere.
No, but isn't all of that based off software and algorithms?
Maybe that's how
But
they
you gotta
got
start it off somewhere first.
Right, but I mean, like, that's what testing.
But I mean,
Yeah.
if people are already listening in.
Yeah. But I mean, isn't it already like a preset? Like, hey, why don't you turn on my lights? Or hey, Alexa, turn on my lights or something. And it's like,
That's just beep, beep, beep.
It's just wild in this day of
Turning on
everybody's so worried about privacy and protection. We just got microphones everywhere that's just listening, and nobody gives a damn about
I
that.
mean, you also have cameras too, right?
Oh yeah, like the
especially-
Nest, the
Yeah,
Ring.
It's like integrating into your home, right? You have like security systems with cameras now.
Skynet is real.
Skynet.
Sky-
What the fuck is Skynet?
It's from Terminator, the
Would you
thing that
not
destroys
watch,
the world.
Like,
Like it's the computer that essentially gains access to everything, makes the Terminators, and starts exterminating humans. That's what Skynet is. It's like a giant branch of like technology just being controlled by an AI.
wasn't that a thing like conspiracy theories? Like, the government is always listening and watching.
I mean,
Like,
technically, yeah.
But
like,
at what point does the AI take over?
when it gets smart enough to do things on its own.
The
There's
Roomba comes back to itself. Then nothing's scary.
There's like this, there's like AI that like can learn, like self-learning AI.
There's like the ones that they make is like, oh, make like a compilation of this kind of thing, or like I made something, watch this for how many hours, and it made
Oh
this.
yeah, people have AIs write script.
Yeah.
People have AIs watch a movie for like 24 hours straight, and then they have them write a new script
based on that movie.
based on that.
Based on
movie.
like that series of that movie. So it writes a whole new like script or anything based on that.
And then there was that whole thing about Facebook's AI like learned how to learn
Like
made its own
targeting ads.
language.
Oh, what?
Yeah, Facebook's AI. They're not working on it anymore, but it made its own language to communicate with other computers. And it was still like using English, but it was just strings of letters and words that didn't make any sense.
So it became the gibberish of the internet.
Yeah, but the other computers knew what they were saying. They could communicate.
That's kind of scary.
Yikes, that's right.
And then like
That's kinda
people like code AIs, and then they'll put them in a scenario with like an incentive, and then the AI will like learn to walk. It's like other stuff like that.
I mean, like they made like almost human robots, right? Like that's a thing. at
Oh
this
yeah,
point.
like
Oh, yeah, there's like the
robot
dog
dogs.
one.
Yeah.
That can like backflip.
Oh yeah, that Sony dog is a little too realistic.
The Sony dog?
Sony has a new dog out there that is a pet.
Huh.
It's
Yeah,
unsettling.
imagine feeding that pet. Yeah, well, you need some oil to do that.
Fire.
Just water it, yeah, with oil.
Just
Just make
water
sure
it with
just
oil.
make sure Samsung doesn't make it, otherwise it might blow up.
Oil it with oil. Oof, here you go, buddy.
That's a big yes.
So do you guys think that technology will go too far in like do you think that humans will take technology like too far in
It has. You're talking to a guy who owns a smart fridge.
No, but do you think that technology can like really take over everything you need to do in your life?
I mean, I think it's like at this point in time they're already
Like-
making it.
Absolutely complete.
Yeah,
Like you literally have to do nothing except for
yeah. Have you seen the movie Wall-E?
yeah.
Yeah,
Except for be alive.
Yeah.
So
I'm not trying
right
to tell
now
everybody to be
we automate humans automate jobs that we don't want to do and we don't want to pay for.
Right.
Right? We've
Right.
hit that point. It happens daily. If some part of your life is affected somehow by pure automation. Now, when we start doing automation of things that that aren't difficult, or
Like turning your lights on. Turning the fan
Or
on.
cashiers,
Yeah.
look at McDonald's, right? They have the kiosks. At what point does that kiosk start talking to you?
That's
Well,
true.
It wouldn't ever need to talk to you because you can choose all your options on the screen.
But
Then
I mean,
but you have to start the interaction. What
No.
if it started first?
Dude, sorry. Off topic here, but
Nah, you're
if
blind.
you're blind,
Oh,
you
wow.
can't use that. Will touchscreens have braille? How do you think?
Did you? Oh, okay. Another off topic.
Does it just like rub itself again?
Did you guys see that thing? On
Wait, no,
Twitter?
it can talk to you, deaf. Oh.
Okay, never mind. This is like totally off topic. I don't even want to say it. It's kind of stupid, but
Okay, back to a little bit more intelligence.
Yikes.
No, but I mean, like, yeah,
Right.
going back to the whole, like, if, like, we create a world where we never really have to do much, I think that's a possibility because we're already moving towards that. Like, if you look at everything that we're doing now, it's making us more lazy.
but do you think that us as a human race can take us to that level?
Yes, we
Yeah.
will become like Wally, and I will be considered skinny at that standard.
Like, if you look at it right now, like,
Fucking goals.
if you look at, like, technology, like, that's advanced in the past, like, what, 20, 30 years? Like, it's actually
Also
amazing
true.
how much, like, we've done in the past 20, 30 years.
Right.
Like, if you look at the technology from the 90s, how, like, dial-up was the thing, and now we have, like, 5G internet, they're gonna make, like, better internet
Even
soon.
like just 10 years, like Siri.
Yeah.
When Siri first came out, it was like
Trash.
groundbreaking.
Yeah.
The
Oh.
first AI. Like,
Oh, Siri was
no,
pretty
I
trash.
mean, I mean, it was trash, but
Yeah.
like, but there was no other AI assistant.
Yeah, like there wasn't anything else.
It definitely started something new.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was like
Bixby.
revolutionary.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then you have
Bixby.
Cortana now on, like, Microsoft.
Big-
Cortana's officially dead. Microsoft is going to
Cortana is
Alexa.
dead.
I mean, she finally went off of Master Chief and just.
Cortana was a POS.
POS.
Yeah, I know.
Bixby's
But
POS.
it was very nostalgic hearing her.
Shit.
Like, hearing her
Point of
mom, and she
sales.
was like, yes.
Point of sales.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, like Siri was like revolutionary, and now like you can turn your whole house on.
Mm. The other problem is going to be is we're going to advance technology for good means. So people who are like paralyzed or non-mobile, right? There will be like
there's,
a
like,
mobile
legs and
suit
shit.
for them and stuff like that.
right.
Then at what
but-
point does somebody just be like, I'm going to wear my suit today and I'm just going to do lift boxes, but I'll be sleeping.
Right, but do you think that that will be attainable like monetarily or like with money?
Yes.
No,
Well,
I mean
I
for the
mean-
common people.
I mean, like 3D printing. I'm assuming will
I mean, yeah, 3D printing will get cheaper, and so will maybe
But the
machines
3D
suits and shit.
printing will enable that manufacturing process to be cheaper.
Right, but like, do but I mean, like you have to factor in like cost of machines
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
utilities. Then do you think like if we were to get mechanized suits, is that something attainable for?
Well,
I wouldn't say plebs, but
Okay, well, think about it this way. When the first laptop came out, how much was the first laptop?
Fuck, dude, I don't know.
I'm guessing it was like hella expensive.
beats me.
You know what I mean? Like that was leading edge technology, a mobile computer, right? Computer used to take up an entire room.
Right.
And
now
now,
they're
we
like-
have one in our pocket.
Yeah.
Now there's one on our
Well, the
table.
first mobile one,
One
the
in our
first like
table?
mobile
There's one in our
computer,
pockets.
I think was like the size of a suitcase.
Yeah. And now all you need is your phone. You put it on the dock thing and you have everything.
Yeah.
It was
This
released
is
in
a computer.
1981 and it cost $1,795.
So
Which
what?
equates to how much money now?
Yeah. Well, sorry, inflation.
Probably like. Let's see.
What year is that? 1981.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jesus, I don't even think I was a sperm yet.
Or like buying power.
So at what point do you think technology goes too far?
When it starts literally, I don't know. I feel like you have to have some kind of human
$2.80.
interaction with technology. Like I feel like at the
Double
point where we don't have to do anything
So,
anymore, I think
yeah.
that's its time for it. Like complete automation is just not good. For
How much was
humans.
the thing?
1,000.
$17.95?
something like that. 1800. Let's just say 18.
Yeah,
around
just
the 18.
18 around it.
You say $2 now?
Yeah, so it was 2.8.
$5,040 or $5,040.
Damn. For a laptop, you can go today and buy it for $500.
Probably less than that too. If you
Right?
get like the Chromebook.
Imagine finding that very first laptop ever made.
I know, like Chromebooks are like $200.
Yeah,
Can you
like,
imagine the
just on a
boot time for that thing? Oh
Can you
my
imagine-
god.
Can you imagine like
It's half a
like-
day.
It's half the battery.
No, this like a laptop then probably doesn't even have like a percentage of the technology that we have here.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh yeah.
It's probably
So,
like,
like-
nothing. What did it even do?
Like I said, like the new Samsung phones, you put it. What is Samsung Dex? You
Yeah,
plug
it's
it
a
in,
dock.
and then your
It's
phone
a
is your
computer.
processor and everything. You just need a monitor, keyboard, all your peripherals.
Cool.
You don't need a desktop anymore.
So I
You
mean,
don't need a
when
laptop
the
anymore.
technology
You just
first
need your
gets
phone.
there, it's super unattainable.
But
um,
over the years,
For example, it's gonna be when there's private spacecraft, right?
But I mean, it's like the same instance.
It's gonna be that top 1% to be like, I got the money to burn. Let's put it. The common people's not gonna have that for another, like at least a decade.
Yeah.
You know, before that's the equivalent to a plane ticket.
imagine how wild space travel is gonna be.
Imagine all the problems that's gonna be.
Oh, so do you guys think later on, maybe not within our lifetime, maybe in our lifetime, like there will be something that could just take people individually, like around the world, like wherever you want to go.
Isn't like Elon Musk trying to like do
Make a
that?
suit.
So he,
No, it's like the what is it called?
that's the Boring company that digs holes, right? He's trying to get that that
Maglev.
magnetic tunnel, that
Yeah.
maglev tunnel. That's the fastest form of transportation so far. 'Cause there's no, the only friction that thing runs
air,
into
right?
is the air that's in the tunnel, if there's any, if he gets that far.
Oh,
Vacuum.
he wants to make it vacuum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he put it in a vacuum.
And that's why all the electronics, everything on board has to be able to run in the vacuum. That's that test capsule. But as for like teleportation or stuff faster than that,
Well, maybe not teleportation, but just like
I think like maglev in a
Yeah.
vacuum is probably the fastest we can attain.
like,
but it's
probably
I don't know if it'll
cleanest.
get you from continent to continent though.
Oh, imagine digging a tunnel underneath the Pacific Ocean,
That'd be amazing.
Imagine how much
and
problems
then
that
at the
would
end
be.
you just get shot out. And
But I guess the only problem
Velocity.
then is gonna be like if the plates ever shift.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
right
it's
to
like
the
a
wall.
big
Yeah.
rip.
Yeah. Rip.
No, it'll just be like it'll just be like the buses, you know, the two half buses with the little.
Like bridges are made like that too, where it's like this, so that if there's ever like an earthquake or like when it gets hot, I think it like expands and.
Yeah.
But how are you gonna vacuum seal that?
This is true.
I don't know. Anything's possible in
Like
I mean, yeah,
squishy-
technology will
squishy
get there.
gel. Think about it. Like it squishes. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah.
So, do you guys value the technology that we have now?
Oh
Oh
god,
yeah,
yes.
of course.
Like, do you think if we didn't have the things that we have now, do you think like our lives
Do you not get separation anxiety when you let go of your phone for longer than like an hour?
Oh no.
If you're not working, if you're not super occupied,
No.
really.
No, you don't have the urge to check your phone.
No.
That's just me.
That's just
Oh,
you.
I guess I'm.
Well, okay, you constantly use your stuff for like work. I mean, I do too, but like, there's nothing I need to do outside of work that requires me to look at my phone. Like, I just have it. I mean, well, I hate to say like everybody has it just to have it, but like, if I need something like to call somebody,
Yeah, no, it's your best form of communication.
Yeah,
It's probably the
yeah.
only reason you really.
Their most
Well,
instant form of communication.
yeah. But like for me, like, I don't need to do a lot of things outside of work with my phone or like with technology because everything that I can do at work, I can only do at work. Like I can't build parts from home. I can't like order stuff from my house. You know, I can look up stuff, but I can't do anything other than look up stuff. So it's like, that's for me. I mean, I don't know how it is about you guys. But
That's
like,
true. Your work environment is like you're in the environment. That's the only place you can do that work.
Yeah, but like for you, it's different because like
you can work from your
yeah,
phone.
like you can, and people have to call you that are like your clients. Or
That's
whatever.
true.
So,
My use case is a little different.
yeah, I mean, even if you're going to school still, that's a big thing to go home and do your homework on your
Yeah,
computer.
that's true.
But like, I mean, I feel like if I didn't have a phone, I'd kind of be okay. But I'd rather not have one. I'd rather have one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I wouldn't say I
It's like
willingly
terrible
put
choice
my
of
phone.
word.
Like, I don't get separation
Double
anxiety, but like I can go without using my phone for a while.
Yeah, same.
Sometimes I forget I have it, honestly. I kind of just leave it and then I forget I have it. And
Yeah,
then I go to check it like 2 to 3
I'm
4
so
hours.
bad. I get phantom buzzes.
Sometimes I feel like
My
someone
phone's right
texting
next to me on the couch, and I'm like,
Yeah, I feel that.
I get that too sometimes, and that's super weird. But yeah, like I wouldn't call it separation anxiety, but I do use my phone kind of a lot.
I used to lose my phone like more than one day.
oh my.
Well, I don't know. It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, in consideration to like what we have in technology right now, I appreciate it. Like, there's a lot of appreciation that goes toward it. Like, I'm in school still, so I mean, if I didn't have Google, like, Google my fucking best friend. Like, Google is just like so great for everything.
Yeah, today's Earth Day, by the way.
Is it really?
Today's Earth Day.
Fucking Earth
Go
Tower?
heard that, guys. Go hug a tree. Go.
That's
you
pretty
know.
cool because my phone told me
Ride your bike.
that it's Earth Day by putting a giant globe on my screen when
Oh,
I first
yeah.
unlocked it this
Me
morning.
too. I was really confused.
Yeah, I
That's
was
what
like-
it was.
It's
for
Globe Day.
Earth
Go find that Instagram video that for every 1,000 views they plant a tree or something like that. Get it.
Get us there. Get us there, YouTube. We have like 30 some views on our first video. I check every single hour. Like this is
Baby
very important.
steps.
Very important.
Baby
your phone?
steps.
Yes, with my phone.
Tell your friends about us if you think we're funny. Tell your friends about us if you don't think we're funny. I don't fucking care.
So
Get it.
moving
Get it
on
fucked
from
up.
the. So we're just gonna plug our friends and maybe ourselves once in a while. So we're starting today with.
With our boy Tyler.
You can follow him under his name at the Camera Guy Official.
Yeah.
He likes
So-
pictures.
He's
He's on
one of
video,
yeah, he's
video,
one of our
video.
videographers, and he does all the tech stuff.
Along with Steven.
These two right here do all of the tech stuff, and they're super great for everything that we do.
Well, that leads into our next topic. Like, do you think that we live in a world where people are overly sensitive?
Hell yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay, why?
Wait, on the flip side though, yes, we have people that are very sensitive. We also have people who are very bashful. In the sense where some of the personal attacks, there's a lot more spotlight on them just because the internet, technology, wow, full circle.
That's true.
You know what I mean? The hiding behind the internet
Oh yeah.
allows people to just be crazy.
Keyboard warriors.
Oh yeah.
I think you're using the word bashful. Bashful?
You allow people behind the keyboard bash other people.
Yeah. No, like bashful is like if someone were to like compliment what you're wearing, you're like, oh no.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's what bashful means.
That's what bashful is.
Reluctant to
Yikes.
draw attention to oneself. Shy.
Yeah, that's what bashful means.
Oh okay.
Yeah.
My apologies, but like.
People are
But
savage.
you know what I mean? Like, yeah, savages, Reddit can be a scary place, or just Facebook in general.
I mean, even for most of us who play video games, right? Like,
Yeah, like the
Video games
internet's a
are
toxic place.
OG Modern Warfare 2.
oh, dude, those days were.
Oh,
like,
OG like Halo 2, man. Come on.
Huh?
So you destroy.
Sir?
Everyone just yelling at each
Even
other.
just in the comment section of the YouTube, like
Oh yeah, no. When
leave all your hateful comments. We don't care.
Okay, so like
Get it fucked up.
I thought about this topic I didn't think about this topic to speak about, but like I was thinking about it over the last couple of days, and you know, like maybe people are super sensitive in a way, but do you think they're not being sensitive and they're just like more opinionated, like, and they stand up for themselves? Like, let's say Alex were to say like, oh, you know, I don't know what's
You're
really-
fucking trash at this. You fucking suck. Like, oh.
No,
Or just like-
but okay, like something like really insensitive,
Oh.
like, you know, you're a
You cocksucker or something like that.
Like just
Or worse.
insensitive.
yeah,
Worse.
but I mean, and then like when they retaliate against that, do you think it's because they're insensitive, or do you think like they really are prideful of themselves and they're like, no, fuck you, like you're a bitch.
I think it's a little bit of both sometimes.
So but what I feel like is like no offense to the older generation, but like when that happens to people of our generation, like millennials, and we clap back at people that are not of our age.
Yeah, we voice it back.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, like give them
we're-
respect. Or
Yeah, and like the older generation people think, oh yeah, you know, these kids are so much snowflakes because, you know, they think we're being offended by what they're saying. But like, do you
But
think
in
it's
reality, like,
yeah,
it's
like,
just
we're standing up
we're just
for
standing
ourselves.
up. Oh.
Yeah. So do you think that's more of
good.
like prevalence now
Shit.
than it is of us being snowflakes? Because I think that's
Oh yeah.
I think that's a big thing in our world now. Like especially since our generation is becoming the majority of the world.
Well, I think being a snowflake means
Getting
like
offended by everything.
not maybe not just being offended, but like not being able to keep handle things. Like if you or like people that get mad and make it a point to like let everyone else know that they're mad.
And they don't add anything constructive to it.
Yeah, like they do everything in their power to make it known that I'm mad, and this is exactly why I'm mad. He has the name of the person I'm thinking of on his computer. That person is a snowflake. Like it could be the littlest thing too, you know, someone didn't turn off the light, like on their way out.
Yeah.
And like everything within like over the last 3 years of you knowing that comes out. Like I hate this person because this.
So like
this,
really,
this.
it's the people that like when they're mad they can't like control it and just keep it to themselves for a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
those type of
or
people?
like just like work to a solution.
It's someone who, so by the definition I'm getting, it's like someone who essentially like can't handle their own anger, so they kind of take it out on everyone else. Plus, it's like it's
And
petty
then,
stuff.
Yeah, it's petty, and there's no resolution to it.
It's just him being angry
It's
forever,
just them yelling.
or like them being angry forever.
Well,
about it.
and a lot of it, what I think is like that term is so misconstrued by a lot of people. Like you can literally voice your opinion,
Yeah.
and you have nothing like a vulgar towards somebody or something. Like maybe you think that this is wrong, and somebody else doesn't think that way, right? But then they call you a snowflake because your opinion is not aligned with theirs.
Mm.
Like that's what I hate about like that term. It's like, no, I'm not a fucking snowflake. It's just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean like it's like or like politics is like that's a big word in the political world. Like
That
you know, if you don't believe in whatever Donald Trump is saying or fucking what is that ugly ass bitch's name? The Speaker of the House lady. Not Nancy Pelosi.
Oh,
The one with the really cockeyed. she looks like a troll.
yeah, she's like Shrek.
Yeah. That her.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
like,
know
so
what
like
you're talking about.
people like fire back at her and stuff like that, and then like all of her supporters and like Donald Trump supporters would be like, oh, you know, that bitch is a snowflake because like they don't agree with whatever. Or maybe I'm like misinterpreting this whole thing.
No, I think you're right. Like,
Yeah.
that's
But-
not how stat words should be interpreted.
I
Yeah,
think it's a
Because
bit.
everyone is entitled to their own opinion,
right.
and it shouldn't be like
And it just so happens that our generation is so vocal.
Yeah.
And like we're not afraid of
Saying things back.
people's we're afraid of people, but we're not afraid to say what we
feel.
think.
like
yeah.
we're not afraid to
Or
go
what-
against popular opinion.
Yeah, and like that's like oh my god, like every time someone calls me a snowflake, I like just my snap is like on. It's like, you know what, bitch, okay, you're not the one fucking doing this job, so bitch, fuck up. But
I guess the hard thing now is just this generation, because that situation occurs where there is lashback for somebody calling out somebody. It's just the generations don't know how to work that argument out.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
You know
a
what I
huge divide.
Even when the argument is presented, it doesn't get resolved in a meaningful way. You know, it goes, oh, disrespectful, oh, snowflake, whatever it is, you know.
If you look at how the generation before us was raised, it was very like, you do what you're told.
Yeah,
And
I
no
read
one
a
talks
thing about linguistics between our generation and the older generation. The older people, when they perform, like they do a favor to someone.
They say you're welcome.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
say you're
It's
welcome.
like, we say no problem. Yeah, no
we
problem.
say no problem because
Yeah.
older people are they think that this favor is something that's not expected from them or of them, so doing it for them is like extra. But our generation is like, yo, if you need help, I'll help you. Just
Yeah,
because
no problem, man.
that's like that's what people should do. That's like
Yeah.
being a good human being. So that's why we say no problem, because there's no sweat off our back to help someone else.
Right.
And when the older generation consider that disrespectful, but it's just a matter of linguistics.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean,
But what do you like? Why do you think that is the case?
The change?
Yeah. Like where do you guys like I want to say draw the line, but like why do you think that is such a big thing between us and the older people?
Look at our level of communication or our accessibility to communication. Back then,
But do you think it's because they don't want to conform? Well, maybe conform is like not the right word, but do you think it's they don't want to adapt?
Yeah,
it's not
in a
so
way,
much
I think.
adapt, but it's just like, if you think about it, like this friend group, right? We can talk crap about one another, but like we understand it's like, oh, we don't worry about it. We don't stress over it.
I'll say it to your face.
Yeah, no, and we'll accept it. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I mean, yeah.
But you gotta think back then, their friend group only existed by, oh, I'm gonna go call or walk to somebody's house and that little group versus the entire world. You know, I could have close friends that are across the world and I won't get offended. So our generation, we're so intertwined to everybody else.
Yeah.
Whoever else is out there and present has a presence out there in any sort of media or just any, like from gaming, the consoles or PC.
Just internet presence.
Yeah, internet presence in general. Like you're going to be at that level of communication, at that level of like, I will accept your viewpoints and I'm gonna regurgitate some viewpoints back at you. So, you know, but the problem is when you're talking to the other generations, they haven't grown up expressing themselves like that from day one.
Oh, that's good.
I think I don't think it's that they're not adapting. I think it's they're having a hard time transitioning to this type of period. Because even when I was younger, like me and my sister used to call each other jerks.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like not like mean or anything. That's just like you do something stupid or like to each other. You're like, oh, I'm such a jerk, and it's just like, okay, whatever, who cares? And then my dad like grounded me and my sister for like 2 weeks because we said that stuff to each other. He's like, you know, you shouldn't be saying like hurtful things to each other. Like you're supposed to raise each other up as siblings. And it was just like, it was a joke.
Or even like a vulgar language, you know, like I can't say they're like fucking home. But like in a normal conversation with today's generation, that's a normal word. Like
That's
at
true.
what point like did that offend somebody? It didn't. Was it a needed word?
No.
Probably not. But it helps exaggerate a point of dislike or a certain way of excitement. You know what I mean?
I mean, even if it's like an enhancement where it's like that's
Yeah.
fucking crazy. Like,
It's fucking great.
I think it's because it's
Yeah.
not like. But I think back then it was direct. Whenever you used words like that, it was directed to someone
Yeah.
in anger or in hate.
It's by
And now it's just like
derogatory.
it's just like an adjective that
It's
expresses
just
like.
a word. That
Yeah.
is common.
It just-
yeah, but
magnitude.
it triggers them.
Well, that's because it's in their head. It's still like
vulgar.
it's still vulgar. It's still
Like,
like
super
you're
disrespectful.
saying it to make a point, like to be mad at something.
And because our communication is so open now, we've like it's just accepted as just a word that we use.
Yeah, like go through your phone right now. There's fucking every single message you've sent, guaranteed, or every other.
I mean, even like the way we kind of address each other, it's like, hey, what's up, bitch? Just like
Maybe
it's
not
like
common.
common. It's
Very
feel like-
common.
I feel like-
WTF?
I was like, what the fuck?
Who doesn't use that? Yeah?
Old people.
Yeah, what the hell? What the fuck? Like, what the?
And I was
Yeah.
like, what the shit?
Yeah.
Just shorten it. TF. The fuck.
or that too, yeah.
The fuck.
So, I mean, that's just, it's accepted nowadays. And the older generation, they see it as adolescence still yet.
Yeah, they do see it as very childish.
Yeah.
Immature.
So if you have a conversation with an old person and we were to speak like how we speak here, they would think of us as immature.
Even if like our lives are completely in order, like
Yeah, like we're out there, we're
all
contributing
solid,
to society.
You know? We're contributing human beings. Whereas these old people are like living off of our
Social security.
tax, and
Baby boomers.
they're like, you're immature, and I'm like, I make all of your money.
Pretty much, yeah.
Get it fucked up.
It's not like we're not contributing to the system that we're all a part of. In the grand scheme of things, we all work in the same level, and it's just gonna flip people's lids when we get into the boss positions, the CEO positions. Then what?
And they call us snowflakes.
Yeah, and like my opening statement as CEO of my company is, get it fucked up.
Yeah. So like you can see some of the drastic terrors in our society. Just watching like the judicial system talking to some of the CEOs of today's companies. Facebook.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, Mark Zuckerberg.
Like if you go and watch that,
Hilarious.
it's so.
they're not even speaking the same language
It's
to each other.
So cringe.
Yeah,
It's so far.
I literally can't understand like common things that people know.
Yeah, at that point, our definition and our way of the internet is so different from their definition of what it is. We can't even get on the level playing field to communicate, and that's
we can't.
yeah. Like you watch them talk in circles. We understand both sides. Well, we watch on what's his name again from the Facebook
Mark Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg. We just watch him. And we're like, okay, he answered. He said it.
Yeah.
Then the question comes up again, and you just sit there like,
Wait, are you
They just
Excuse
like
me?
reword the question. It's the same question. That
Yeah.
deserves the same answer. And it's like, what aren't you understanding? I'm answering your question.
And I think that comes with like how we grew up too, right? Like we grew up in an age of technology and we grew up with like more progressive ideas and thoughts, but back then it was not as, progressive.
it's funny to think. Like, at least for me, when I was growing up, though, internet was not a thing until I hit like late elementary, early intermediate.
But even then, like I think we're all around the same age.
Yeah.
But like it's interesting to think that we were kids when like big internet and big technology was just getting started, and we're now at like the peak of our lives.
Yeah.
In this period where like the younger people will not understand how technology came to be how it is right now, but the older people don't understand. The older people don't understand what it is, but they know where it came from.
Yeah, we're like stuck in this generation gap. Like, we've come so far, like, just as adolescents, I guess you could say. But like, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, we're probably smarter than a lot of the fucks that grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like, we have access to more.
We had
Information,
so much
yeah.
information just readily available.
The fact that Google started becoming a thing, Ask.com was a thing,
Yeah,
Yahoo was the main search engine back in the day.
Yeah,
because like
and now
any problem you have is probably solved by somebody else that told the internet, like, hey, I've experienced this, and this is what you can do to fix it. And if it relates to you, then you have an answer. It's not like the old days where like, oh look, I ran into a hole in the ground. Now what do I do?
Yeah,
I,
like
patch it up with a
now
shovel.
you actually don't even have to interact physically to look something up on the internet. You just go, hey Google. My phone came on. Where's the nearest Walmart?
I found a few Walmart locations near you.
Yeah, you don't have to look in a map.
I don't
Problem
even have
solving
to
is a lot
touch
easier.
My phone.
Now there is the flip side where like the internet, like, oh, you can't trust the internet, blah blah blah. You can trust the internet. It's like you have brains yourself. You can filter out what is garbage and what isn't. Wikipedia, for example, is a mine of information. When I was through college, there was some professor saying, "Oh yeah, you can use Wiki. Just make sure you use the references underneath because Wiki is just pulling everywhere and gathering it for you." Other people are like, "No, it's all bullshit." I'm like, "It's like
Just
not
read
though."
it.
No, yeah. So
Like an educated person can understand, like, hey, that's probably not right.
Yeah, so like my professors now is like, yeah, if you want to get started on something like for like a research paper or a topic, it's like start with Wikipedia because it's a good place to start. You can get the basic references you need
And then source it.
and then source it, right? And then you go back to that original source, which is the primary source, and then you get all that correct information. But it's like other people who are so left behind in like the past, they're like, nah, it's complete bullshit. Just like read a book.
And I guess the other thing too is our generation has a very different intuition when it comes to being on the internet, or those spam emails or those fake emails for phishing emails, or even like prank calls nowadays. Not even prank calls, just telemarketers or those robotic calls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like we've been we've interacted with so much of those fake claims, or we've learned that if I click this is bad. Avoid that. And it's just sad that there is people out there who know that people will never learn.
And it's sad to know that people do fall victim to it.
Yeah, like the FBI lockout virus on your computer. It will completely lock you out of everything, and it says call this number and you have to pay. People will pay that ransom and they don't get the computer back. Because they freak out. They see the FBI logo and all that stuff. That's public domain. You can see that logo. You can copy it. But people they aren't.
Technologically savvy.
They're not even just technology. They're just not savvy when it comes to
They just
that.
have no common sense.
So
It's like the
like
internet.
that's why when we hear something kind of skeptical, we interact with it differently.
Yeah, it's like,
Or-
is that really true?
Yeah, we question it,
Because,
and that's when
but
old
it's-
timers.
But it's all. I feel like it also stems back to because we have so much information like readily available to us.
So on the flip side, though,
Be-
what
yeah,
the old timers, when they start telling us something, we get skeptical too. We're just because that's just how our thought process is, and then maybe not contradict, but we will go in there and we will analyze it. And sometimes when we analyze things, we ask, why does it have to be that way? Then they get all defensive.
That goes
No,
back
it's just
to,
because
like,
that's just our thinking process.
This the generation gap.
they do what they're told and we ask questions. That's just how we are.
Sorry, trending off the topic a little bit. Like I just kind of thought of a story. So my grandfather, who grew up in the mainland, he is a white person. He grew up like during segregation and all that type of stuff. So he was telling me a story like about my dad when he was a child, and then when they go see a movie or something, and he just casually drops like the N word, like the hard R N word, and it's like, whoa, like that's kind of an outdated term at this point. Like don't do that. It's like why? It's like why are you so offended by it? It's like because you're supposed to be offended by it. Like that's something like I'm supposed to be offended by. Like damn. Like
Is at what point can you make something into a joke or talk about it lightly?
well,
I think that's
Like
just case by
accidental
case.
Yeah.
And it really comes down to how is it being presented.
And like how
And who you're
close
presenting
you
to.
are
Yeah.
the person.
I mean, considering it was like in the context of a family party, and there were children around, and it was kind of just being told out in the open.
Like if an old timer uses that word, it's usually very aggressive.
Yeah, I know it was hell.
For us, right? Like we designate it by that R at the end. Is it an A or an R? Hard R or just A. Soft A. And then that kind of determines like, okay, cool. You're being stupid.
I'm not saying it's acceptable still, but I mean in
Disclaimer,
public.
I am black.
In public, I mean, like if you're within your friend group and everyone is okay with it,
Yeah.
that's you. But yeah, don't use it in public, please.
On the flip side too is that word gets used
In
because
like mass media,
in mass media and the way how even that the race would perceive themselves. They adopted it and they use it. It's just language. Again, it's just like vulgar words. Are they really that vulgar? Like, do they really offend someone?
I think it's just more based on like when you and who you're presenting to is okay with the history behind it.
I guess so.
Or not
Acceptance
Like I
of
said,
it.
it's
like
all-
accepting it.
It's all
Yeah.
just a case by case basis.
Because it's like if you say that word now, it's not like you're using it to offend someone. Unless that's what the point is. Then you can kind of tell by the way it comes off.
Yeah.
You can tell by context. Like I said, like if you're with your friends and everyone's okay with it, that's fine with me.
But that's what makes us more complicated. Is context and the way we use things, because we can use a word in so much different ways now.
Yeah.
Going
Like
back to
bitch.
just like the word fuck or bitch.
Yeah.
Like bitch.
Bitch?
Or like bitch.
Or bitch.
A bitch.
Like the way we deliver it now, there's so much subtle variations of it
Yeah.
that it takes one of us to know how it's being come up. And then if somebody has a problem, our generation be like, wait, excuse me? Oh no, I meant it like this. I'd be like, oh okay, I got it. You don't have that light bulb moment with the other generations. It doesn't. They won't click like that.
It's like that Vine of the lady saying "bitch" like 14 different times. That
Yeah.
all means something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So funny.
I've seen that.
And it's by all of us, it's understandable.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah,
I mean, like, yeah, for us, it's like common language, right? That like that's in our vocabulary. It's a part of us and how we speak.
Like we grew up with that.
Yeah.
And we
Because you also got to
understand.
think about too, like when we're reading text online, how do you know what that person means?
There are still some things that get lost in like
Lost.
text.
Yes. So text messages is dangerous, or
It's
just
hard.
text
You
format
don't
is
have
dangerous.
the influx of like your tone, or like just subtle things that will come up through like speech.
Which is why like a lot of the things that we created as a generation comes into play, like LOL, haha, like when you put haha behind something. It's
yeah,
like,
it helps get. It's not a serious thing. It's just all playing stuff.
those things are meant for. It's
Are
not
for
even meant.
context.
Yeah, it's not even meant to mean like what it actually is.
It's,
It's
not
just
literal. It's for context.
Yeah.
like no one actually laughs out loud when they type
But
that.
do you guys like read that in your mind while you're reading that message, or do you overview the message and you see that and it's like, okay, now I understand the way that you're trying to say it?
The second one.
If I see the LOL in there, I just think it's like lighthearted or it's just plain
Yeah,
around,
it's
friendly.
Do you guys like purposely seek out those combination of letters, like you know what?
I think so because
Or like
it
LOL
does.
or haha or LMAO.
What about when there's a period at the end of the sentence in a text message? Does anyone like get like
Dude, I talk with periods.
no like
Oh,
if the context of the text is like
If it's a
heavy
hard statement,
and it ends with a period, do you guys get like do you have that feeling of like
they're mad.
Serious?
yeah like they're mad at me?
No, yeah, I do.
Well, I think it also depends on person by person, so context wise. So like depending if you know the person well enough,
I guess the relation with
Yeah.
that person. Yeah.
and you know how we all know how we speak. Like we know when we're joking and when we're just trying to be savage or all that.
oh yeah, it's like when you text your boss, who's considerably older than most of us.
You're very straight.
Yeah.
That's
it's-
where.
Yeah, they're never like, OMG, why are you late?
Unless your boss is that person.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
weird because like I text my boss my schedule or like what days I need off for the week, and I'm like very precise and proper about it. And I'm like, hey, I've been scheduled these 2 days, and I give the date and the date on the other side. Can I please have these days off? And he'll send me just the okay emoji, and I'm just like, what? Like, okay, thanks.
Steve, no.
Cut it out. But yeah, like I
I'm gonna
do.
fill that in with a black hole.
I do look
Shucks.
for those little things to like key me in on like how the text should be read.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's something that I do like a lot. It's like when people text me, it's like,
Cause like say John were to make a joke, text me like a joke, like kind of offensive. And I texted him back like "fuck you," with nothing. That could be kind of offensive.
My audio's still good.
But if I say "fuck you," LOL, it's different. It's lighthearted. It's like
Yeah.
I'm joking back.
yeah.
But it's the same phrase, just with extra things, and it's just that just leads to the context of the text message.
So I think we grew up definitely in the middle where we had to communicate one to one vocally to each other. Then we transitioned into text messages, but we understand each other because of the vocal background. This generation,
So-
the generation that's in high school now, is so text based,
Yeah.
or they're trying to solve so much problems that they need to see the body language.
Right.
That they
Cannot
cannot.
hear a tone.
Yeah, they got to hear the tone, the seriousness, or like what part is that person exaggerating when they're explaining something to them.
So
You know, you don't see this hand movement, or you don't have like, I really need you to emphasize and stuff.
right. Okay. So another question that I was thinking about. Can I what?
Sit more in.
Sit more in? Oh yeah. Another question that I was thinking about is like, so you know how the older generation is now. Do you think we are going to become just like that when we get older?
I don't think so. The reason,
I don't think so either.
The reason for
Personally.
that is we are on such an adaptive playing field
Yeah.
that we are used to the great adapting. Now, I feel displaced in a sense where, like, when Snapchat came around, I still have a difficulty using Snapchat. I know that's, like, in social media kind of thing, but I'm not afraid of it,
Yeah.
Or I don't
Yeah.
just don't acknowledge its existence. I'm like, oh, I know that format.
Yeah, but like I don't really use Snapchat all that much
Yeah.
either.
Right.
But yeah, like
But
I know how to use it. It's just like it's not for me personally.
I think so like we were talking about earlier, how like technology like in the span of 10 years greatly like increased. I think if that happens when we're older, it might be hard for us. Like if out of nowhere, it just
all of a sudden.
all of a sudden in
exponential
10
growth.
years, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
super duper advanced.
Right.
Like you're like pulling stuff like in the air now and stuff. I
But
feel
like
like
at the same time, like,
adapting and learning to that kind of stuff might be harder for us just because we're
But I think we're more open to learning and
yeah,
adapting.
because like it happened to us when we were like in a good age where like our brains could
Yeah.
mature around it to that kind of growth. But like the older generation today, I don't think they
Too
had
late.
that big
Capacity.
to like comprehend that amount of growth in that little time.
They
'Cause, like,
they
even,
learned
like,
their
with-
one
yeah.
skill, their one trade. It was very tunneled.
Yeah,
What
but
they're gonna
us is
do.
like the whole world is open to us at our age right now, in my opinion.
and old people are content with what they have and
Yeah.
what they so it comes down to like it's a very situation thing. Like when we get there, it'll be like, are we just
It might
content
be
with
different.
yeah.
Yeah, you never know. It's all speculation. But I think we grew up in a period where, like, even if, like, 40 years down the road, like, there's a 5-year span where, like, technology, like, rapidly advances. I think we could still, like, adapt with it because we grew up in this period of time where, like, everything is getting crazy all of a sudden. Like, our whole house is controlled with my phone.
Like us
Through
growing
my
was
voice.
like us adapting already. So
Yeah.
we're already used to
And,
adapting.
and it was at the age where, like, our brains are still maturing. And, like,
Yeah.
we grew up with that.
We're so used to trying new things and having to be retaught to do the same thing. How much time did you have to learn to use like Word or Excel?
That's true.
Right? We've gone through several iterations. Our software. Look at the different from Microsoft Word, right? We picked that. Look at our social medias. You know, we've from MySpace to Facebook when it first came out to what Facebook is now.
To Instagram,
Instagram, yeah.
Snapchat.
All these
gonna put little pics whenever it pops up.
all these different styles of we started something way back when. It's been around, it's
It's
constantly changing.
It's evolved, right? Like,
Yeah. That was the headphones entirely they put back right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So we adapt and we still use the items.
Yeah.
So I think we have a very high
Adaptability.
adaptability. Thank you.
Other
So-
side of the coin, though. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
Other side of the coin, like, going back to what I was saying earlier, like, we grew up in this period where, like, we started from when it was just getting started, and now we're here.
We're
Like,
at
the
the
younger generation, like, if things don't, like mature as fast, like, currently, you think they'll have a problem?
I think so.
I guess so. Yeah, we were in the point of exponential growth.
Yeah, like, we were
We were
bad.
slingshot.
I mean, so
But today you start off. The kid has an iPad starting off.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So I think about it this way: like my grandfather always told me the stories about how when he kind of first started growing up, he went to the military and he learned how to type on a typewriter, and that was like huge for a lot of people. Like not many people knew how to type, and he got promoted because he knew how to type, and that was the thing for them. It's like he adapted to that and he learned how to do it, and because that was a big technology at the time.
Do you guys remember in high school or in any point in school when you first made your resume? Oh, make sure you put on the bottom that you're proficient, you know, like at Excel or Word.
Yeah.
You're able to type it, how much words. So I can like, that's not an important thing.
It's an accepted thing now that you can do it.
It actually is.
It's no, but it's required now. It's not like, oh, you can do this. That's great. Like
That's true.
Now it's like you should just be able to do this. It shouldn't be a
Yeah,
problem.
it's
Yeah.
a standard.
Yeah.
So my mom was looking for a new job, and like one of the requirements for this office job was she'd need to be able to type at a certain speed, and like she can't type fast because like she just didn't grow up with computers, right? Like I can type fast. I'm sure all of you can type fast, but my mom can't.
Yeah.
And so like she bought like this like typing like lesson thing for the computer, so like she could take lessons and like how to improve her typing speed. But like I think it's kind of it's kind of wild, yeah. Like the older people still can't type very fast. It's just
Well, they grew up with like not having to do that,
I know.
and then when they had to do it, it was like,
Remember now, they spent all their time writing cursive. We
Yeah.
spend our time with keyboards.
yeah, like and I can type away forever.
Yeah.
Can you write cursive well?
Nope.
Exactly.
Hell no.
But I mean, like that's
My
a difference, though.
signature isn't even consistent.
Yes,
Yeah.
same. That's a problem.
But that's like
Oh,
a skill
your-
that they
your
need.
signature
Right?
sucks.
Like,
Electronic signatures though, That shit's dope. Just
Going back to you saying like if the generation below us will have problems. No, I don't think so.
I think so.
Well, the reason I don't think so is because I think schools are compensating for that.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Well,
no, but yeah, like,
you know Kyrie, Cody's younger sister, my friend Cody. I was going over some of her work. Like I was correcting her math homework for her, and she's in third grade, and I was going through it, and the way it was written, it wasn't written like algebra, but it was algebra. Like the algebra we did in 9th grade, like x plus this equals this. That was her 3rd grade homework, but it just wasn't translated like that. It was written in a way like a kid could understand.
Oh. Well, it's still not that, but that's math.
What I'm saying
If we're
is
coming down to the education system, I think that if our generation is teaching the younger ones, like teachers stay fresh.
Oh yeah, that's
not.
No, but it does happen, Like I have a lot of classmates who are actually teachers, or friends, siblings who are teachers and stuff like that. If they teach the younger generation, you instill upon the kids you teach. A part of your thinking style is you will leave that will stick with them.
Right.
And our generation is teachers. Like we're in the middle section where we have to teach the younger generation how to
and
do
the
things.
older generation.
And the older generation. Our
But
generation
haven't you ever noticed,
No,
like,
see,
you have certain professors, if they're in a certain age for their topic, they're brilliant at what they teach.
Oh yeah.
A history professor who is kind of on the older side and the really nitty-gritty old stuff, boom, that knowledge for days. A person who's teaching entrepreneurship in today's market,
or like IT.
or IT, it's a younger person, or the sciences, it's a younger person.
Yeah.
It's fresh.
Right. It's different based on your field of work, but like.
Now the problem becomes, you get the old CEO, or you get the old boss man when you get into the workforce. Because workforce, right, you stagnate longer.
Yeah.
I don't know so much our generation, like, again, kind of going off topic, but like, we tend to float to different jobs. We're no longer just in our career and we live in this company.
Well, plus
Yeah,
we like the
we're
challenge.
always like seeking growth.
Yeah, we're seeking growth, we're seeking change, and we're okay with that. Versus no consistency, I will be a robot.
Yeah, no, and our term of growth doesn't necessarily mean like one job for this many years. It's like if there's an opportunity elsewhere, we'll take it.
Yeah. And then if it aligns with like the skills you want to learn, that's something that we can. Like,
So I honestly think right now the biggest hurdle we're gonna have is our generation becoming the big bosses, us becoming the CEOs. Once the millennials have that grasp across all the Fortune 500 companies,
We're Gen Z technically.
I think their generation is.
They're millennials.
Yeah, they're millennials. We're Gen Z.
No, I'm pretty sure we're all Gen Z.
No,
I'm
after-
millennial. Bro.
No, so after 1995, I think it was.
Yeah.
Gen Z
You know what I mean?
Like
I'm
or 94 or something. Yeah.
I'm 92, bro.
But okay, so
But that's like a 2.
But see, once that occurs,
Oh, 1996. I'm
We're no longer-
1 year off.
we're no longer trying to teach both ends of the spectrum.
yeah.
You know what I mean? We're no longer came to the old. We are technically the old who are teaching the young.
Right. But we have developed so much like cognitive skills, like people-based skills. Not maybe because we did a certain job, but like I think that is the hardest thing that other people have to do with that aren't our age because they don't have those skills. Like the younger kids now, like there are things you can learn in school like math and science and shit like that. But like when they get into, I wouldn't say the real world, but when they get into the next portion of their life, they don't have.
They're lacking certain traits.
Yeah, but I mean, like I feel like our generation is so far into like being interpersonal. Like a lot of us are not afraid to like move with people or like like communicate with people openly and like I mean maybe that is a thing you learn when you grow up, but like that's something like I had to learn when I was growing up. But like older people don't think that way, obviously. Like they're not one to be confrontational even if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
And like the younger people don't see that either because they're so wrapped in the world around their phones.
Their phone. Yeah, because we grew
So-
up like not only communicating over the internet, but like we did have to be interpersonal like all the time.
Yeah.
And even at our age now, like we still communicate over the internet, but we meet all the time and we like talk story for hours.
We do
still-
this?
Yeah, we're doing it now.
Yes, we do podcasts.
We're talking story and we're using technology.
So I think the biggest thing, I mean, not to brag about our generation, but I think we will go down as one of the greatest ever, only because of the circumstances that we've had to
Oh yeah, no,
endure.
like we've had to face so many different
Yeah.
changes and so many different like
Yeah, like we had
hurdles.
we had to like ask questions about everything because so many things were rapidly evolving around us.
Right.
And this is going back to like the younger generation might have problems because like I feel like a lot of stuff has just been handed to them.
spelled out for them.
Yeah, like spelled out, and they don't always have the interpersonal skills because they like Cubi or X, please. Like John said, they do live a life that revolves around like social media and like texting.
See, but
And
that's-
the other thing too, sorry Tyler,
Oh,
like we were fortunate enough to have the things that we have now, but we have literally like maximized the stuff that we can do with what we have. So like like the people that may have gotten everything, and especially like the younger kids now, like just having a phone and like having laptops is normal. Like I mean, maybe not to shit on them because they're of a younger age and their brain isn't as developed as ours, but like I still think that when we get older, we're still teaching them things that they probably should know. I mean, that's probably what the older generation thinks of us now. It's like, you guys should already know this.
Yeah.
But like I think we'll be more like advanced in a way.
I think
that-
we'll be more open to teaching them though.
Yeah, but so like that's going back to like the cognitive skills that we've
Yeah.
learned. We'll be more open to like obscurities and hurdles and stuff like that. Okay, anyway, sorry, Tyler.
No, I was thinking that you know how you said like we have like communication skills and stuff like that, and like interpersonal relationships, like we could be here and talk story and whatever. Do you not think that I think they'll be fine, and I think they might be better, because I don't think they'll need it at that time. I think that it'll come to a point where you won't need to have those skills.
Oh yeah.
I don't think so.
We were talking earlier about like how far will automation go?
Right. Okay. So even in a sense where you don't have to be face to face with somebody,
You still need the skills to communicate.
But like
Yeah.
yeah, that's what.
but I mean, okay. So like,
they're in their phones, right?
but
Texting
do
and all
you
these
think like conference calls like in the business world will ever go into just text? I don't think so.
Probably not.
Yeah, because like I mean, you'll have like a projection of yourself, like, presumably, like that's where the world will go. But if you don't have those skills,
to present an idea.
yeah, to present yourself and like what you think of this idea or what you think should be right or wrong, or like just how to communicate with different people that you don't even know, like that's still gonna be a big thing in the like forever.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think
Even if aliens were to come down here
I
and they
think
spoke
we're
the same
we're
language
gonna
as
have
us,
the problem of that the new generation will be extroverts, but not in their identity. Meaning, like look at like VR chat room. They don't have to be who they are.
they're
You know
like
what I mean? They can project themselves as something
as
else.
a character.
yeah.
But when it comes to the actual self, it's total 180.
Yeah.
But the hard part is the workforce. I don't know if you'll be able to hide behind aliens.
No, I mean
That's
you'll never. I don't think it'll ever get to that point where you cannot be who you are, and like show it.
Yeah.
Like, cause I mean, you can hide behind.
That's just thinking
You know,
of like
like
a
we
really
can't-
dry, like technically advanced future, where like there is no more emotion kind of thing. Like that's where that would exist. I feel, but no, yeah. I mean, you will have to have people skills still. Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like
There is human interaction on several levels. I mean, automated vehicles not gonna kick off forever. Everybody's gonna drive. Your form of communication is driving still yet. Purchasing. Yeah, you can do Amazon. You can have Bike Squad drop off, but there is still human interactions that you cannot remove with today's technology. And even going into the future, I don't think it will be completely removed.
it will never be obsolete because like there's only so much like persuasiveness you can convey through a series of letters. Like our way of communicating with like another person face to face, like we use these gestures, and the tone of our voice can like sway this person's opinion. Like when we're talking about a topic or presenting like an idea, like.
So,
I
like,
guess
what if-
corporate America wouldn't let that disappear. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was thinking about it, but I was like, you know how we created like LOL, haha, all these things that like show emotion through text. Like, who's to say like the generation goes doesn't create like a formal version of that, where like, cause if you think about like you know how you said like conference calls will always be conference calls. Like, you don't think like they'll start having text like for those type of things too, because how much more can get done in a day because you're deciding to do a
Do you think that could occur with a
text.
multi-billion-dollar business
But
sale?
see, like,
Yes.
those phrases and key words we're looking for in a text message only provide context if the person reading it
Understands
it
understands all the cues.
No, yeah, so
But-
I'm saying
but
like,
no,
what if we
but-
create like a language for
But that leaves room for error.
Hmm.
Like if you are conveying your idea like face to face, like if you fail, you can't blame anyone other than yourself. And if you don't have the skills to convey your message or persuade a group of people or like your boss for that raise, like that's not there's no room for error other than like your own skill, you know. Like, but if you were like send a text or like an email, and they read it and they don't get all of that context that you're trying to convey to them or that persuasiveness, like that leaves room for error that is unnecessary in my opinion.
You still need like self-identity, because like I do a lot of things with email that, you know, sometimes it can come off like really rough or some like I'm just like what's this person's problem? Then you meet them in person, then all of a sudden you read all that messaging again in a different light, and you're like, oh no, they just meant it this way.
Yes,
You know,
it's
you learn the cues by talking to that person and finally meeting that person. You're like, oh, I get what they mean now.
yeah, like there leaves little room for error when you're face to face, and then at that point it's just whether or not your opinions align.
Mhm.
But like over text, there's still room for error.
Okay, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. So like conference calls, so it has to happen, right? We agree with that.
Mhm.
So who's to say like they're not learning their interpersonality? Because they have like yes, they're in their phone and stuff, but FaceTime's a thing, Snapchat's a thing. Like they're learning the same things as us, but through a phone.
No, I mean that's fine.
I mean, a conference
But
call
that's
is through
literally-
technology, but it's still
Yeah,
interpersonal
but yeah,
because you're face to
Yeah.
face.
So but you said that it wouldn't be like they're not learning those skills because they don't do like this, like they don't hang out.
Oh.
But I mean, I think that's a different context of what you're talking about, though, because, like, if you're talking about like business wise, the formality of it.
Yeah, but we don't learn business wise here.
Okay, wait. Here's a whole new twist. What is the definition of formal in the next 10 years?
That's true.
Oof.
It's true, but Tyler does raise a good point. We're looking at it as like these younger kids aren't like actually face to face. Like I can physically touch Steven. And these kids can't like physically touch each other, but they're still communicating face to face, using their voice, using these gestures. It's just not the same way we're perceiving it, and so they're still learning the skills.
Mind fucked.
But so we're all in agreement that like interpersonal skills and like people skills will always be needed.
Right, but you have to have friends that are willing to do like FaceTime stuff. Now, you can't just FaceTime anybody, obviously.
This is
But-
true, but yeah, like the younger kids,
There
like,
is-
even like
There's a different magic when you're amongst friends or amongst people
Yeah.
face to face. You know, bouncing off of these ideas and just keeping it going and going.
Right. Well, I mean, there could be a point in our lives where like we never really have to sit down with another person in the same room.
it's
Yeah.
all over a call.
Yeah,
But it-
I mean,
half
yeah,
an hour or
basically just
something, yeah.
glorified FaceTime. But
It's like Star Wars in that.
In the holodeck.
Yeah.
You like
Yeah.
throw the disc on the
Or
table.
Genlock if you watch that.
But I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's still in a sense like
It's still
it's
interpersonal.
like interpersonal.
Yeah, no, for
right,
sure, for
right,
sure.
right. But I mean, like, maybe it's because they're not that old yet. Like, I don't understand why they're doing the things that they do.
No, even
like-
like oh, sorry.
No, I kind of just lost my train of thought.
I honestly think it has to get to a point where we can do like the VR chat or like augmented reality, the way where you can hear and see the person while communicating, because
Even
you
if
need
they're
to
not
learn
physically
those
there.
cues. Because then that's how that person perceives that individual based off of their body language, how they normally talk, what's their tone of voice like. You know, that creates that identity that everybody has of that person.
So Red Online fans, if you're watching.
So
FaceTime us.
fix
Don't
it.
FaceTime us. I'm sorry.
Don't do that.
Join a Discord.
Join our Discord.
Join our Discord.
Follow us
Soon
on
to be up.
Instagram or Twitter
Yes, mate.
and YouTube. Subscribe.
So
Hit
like,
that notification bell to join the.
Okay.
Well, we're
Okay,
like
stop
the
on the shimmy
extra.
show.
so that was a closure.
But we're not done. So
We probably should be.
should we be done?
You're like 2 hours.
Yikes.